Hello there and welcome to the channel. My name is Simon and you are watching Walking Talking Gardeners. That'll do it. In this video I'm going to be talking to you about which plants you should never be cutting, trimming or pruning in the month of April. Calm down, calm down. Now, being April, some of these plants will be on the very edge of being cut or not being cut, and as we get to those particular plants we'll explain it in more detail so that there's no problems with the cutting at the wrong time. So we're going to split this video into three categories. First one is going to be climbing plants, the second will be trees, and the third one will be shrubs.
Category number 1, climbing plants.
He didn't need to say that, it's fairly self-evident from what I just said. There's always someone trying to big up their part, isn't there? So, climbing plants, and the first lot of climbing plants I want to talk to you about are your clematis. Now when it comes to pruning clematis, they are put into three sections. Group 1, Group 2, Group 3. Now your Group 1 clematis are your early flowering clematis, and they flower on the previous season's wood. And if you cut them now before they come into flower, they are not going to flower until the following year once you produce some of the previous season's wood. Now if you're not sure which clematis you have or which group your clematis is in, then take the name and go on to the world-renowned English Royal Horticultural Society's website. And then that will tell you which pruning group it will be in. Now if you want a quick list of the or at least some of the Group 1 early flowering clematis, then I will just put that along here. See if you recognise any of those. Other than that, if you're outside of that group, then don't worry too much. We'll discuss those Group 2 and Group 3 clematis in later videos. But for now, all these early flowering Group 1 clematis, when do you actually prune them? Immediately after flowering. Okay, everybody's favourite climber, the jasmines, in particular your summer flowering jasmines. No, you don't cut those now either, even though they're not in bud. Now again, they flower on the previous season's wood, and if you want to know when you cut those, it will again be immediately after flowering, which will be at the end of the summer. So we're talking about Besianum, we're looking at Stephanense, we're looking at Officinale. But on top of that, also and it's not a true plant from the jasmine species, but the Trachyospermum jasminoides, or the star jasmine. Again, you don't cut it now, there's no bud showing, and if it is a bit straggly, try and avoid cutting it until the correct time, which once again, bloody flies, is immediately after flowering in the summer, early autumn. Now the last climber I want to talk to you about is the winter flowering honeysuckle, the Lonicera fragrantissima. Now it's not strictly a climbing plant, more of a wall shrub, but it flowers like mid to late winter, and as soon as you get the new growth emerging in the spring, that is the growth that's going to house your flowering bud, which will produce the blooms for next winter's display. So any part of that plant that you're going to be removing with that new growth on it, you'll be removing next year's flowering display. So I appreciate they are a straggly mess for most of the year, but if you want to avoid losing your next winter's display, then don't cut it. But to be honest with you, I don't like it. I wouldn't have it in the garden anyway, but I'm just telling you in case you've got one and you like it and it smells nice, but boring. Oh, hold on a minute. If you're finding this video useful or even just mildly amusing, then don't forget to click the thumbs up, press on that subscription, and if you want to be notified of whenever we release a new video, then click on that notification bell. It helps us more than you know, and it allows us to do stupid visits like this in the future. Anyway, let's continue to find out what old boiled butt has to say. Put my bloody glasses back on. Too hot, too sunny. It's too lovely.
Category 2, trees.
Right, let's try and break these into bite-sized groups. The first one are going to be your lilac trees. Now, come April and you get a decent bit of weather, nice weekend, it's very tempting just to go through the garden and start cutting everything. Don't cut your lilacs yet. Now, they are just about coming into leaf, and immediately after that leaf comes through are going to be your flower buds. Now, those flower buds are born on the previous year's wood, and if you cut those, that means no flowering for you. So, lilac trees, when you prune them, immediately after flowering. I seem to be saying this a lot. Right, let's put that one aside. Let's do the next one. Next one are your stone fruit trees, and that could be edible or ornamental cherries. It can be your apricots, your nectarines, your plums, and your gauges. Now, all of these you prune at the dry, sunniest day of the year. You make your cuts at this time of year and you'll find that there is an increased risk of two very important dangerous diseases. Silverleaf, which over time will just kill your plants, and the second is bacterial canker, which over time will just kill your plant. Now, with the bacterial canker, if your tree is in excellent growing condition, it can outpace the infection of your bacterial canker, but if it's in poor condition, it's going to succumb and die. If you do see parts of the tree with that weeping sap coming off of it, and the cracks in the bark and the depressed areas of bark, then cut that branch away as low as you can go, because that infection is not only up, it's also going to be down. There is nothing you can spray or do about it. It's just one of those things. The only way to avoid it as best as you can is to cut the driest part of the year and put some wound seal on those cut stems. It's both devastating diseases, and the guidance is to never cut during damp, cold conditions, which April, isn't it? Elm trees should not be cut between April and July because of the risk of attracting the elm bark beetle. Birches and acers, maples, you never cut these now because they are heavy bleeders, which means they will release a lot of sap, weakening the plant. The only time you cut birch and maple is going to be midwinter, when the plant is absolutely rock solid dormant. However, if you are an American, be aware that the female bronze birch borer, they are active between April now and mid-July. So no cutting of your birch at that time period either, even though I just said you only cut them midwinter, because for some reason you don't listen. You just love cutting when you want to cut. And that's it for trees. Thank God for that.
Category 3. Shrubs.
Yes, the last category, those shrubs you shouldn't be cutting now in April. Now, I like to put lavenders on that because I believe that lavenders should only be cut in the months of August and September. And I do know that there are a few gardens out there saying, oh, an early trim in the spring will help, but if you leave that a bit too late, you'd be cutting off the flowering bud, which doesn't do anybody any good. I don't like cutting it early. If you cut it properly at the right time, August to September, you won't need to do a cut in the spring. So I'm putting lavenders in there because I think that is better horticultural practice. Anyway, lavenders aside, damask roses flower on the previous season's wood, so you would prune those immediately after flowering, as you would do with your rambling roses. Again, climbing roses, all the other shrub roses, you can cut those in March. So April, you'd really be a bit too late. So damask roses, rambling roses, don't cut those either. Bit away. It's not really cutting, pruning, trimming, but it is deadheading last year's growth. Hydrangea macrophylla. It's a hybrid. It's not as hardy as a lot of the other species, and you should still have your previous year's flower bud on top of it. Don't cut those yet. Now, the reason why they are traditionally left there is because they help protect the foliage below as that comes through, which it will be doing now, from any late frost. So here in the UK, that is a big problem. So it is April. I've checked the forecast. We are still getting low temperatures overnight down to 3 degrees Celsius, and that is a frost risk. So I know it's April, I know you want to tidy it up and take those dead flower heads off, but please wait a wee bit, because if you take those off and there's a hard frost, then all that new growth coming through will be ruined. It will go brown, crisp up, and it will have to start growing out all over again. All the sun's in my face. So there you go. All the other hydrangeas, yes, you can dead head, just make sure they're frost hardy. That macro filler, just wait a little bit longer. Now, any azaleas, rhododendrons, camellias, magnolias that haven't flowered yet, I mean, most of your magnolias would have done, and a lot of your camellias, do not cut those yet. They might look untidy, but they are just about to flower. Now, some of those flower buds are going to be really obvious, like the magnolias and the camellias, and should be the rhododendrons. But on those azaleas, the terminal buds, they tend to be hidden within like a cluster of leaves, so they're much more difficult to see. So resist the temptation to do any trimming work or shaping work on azaleas until after flowering, and certainly wouldn't do it yet if they haven't flowered so far this season. It's of that group of 4, it's the azaleas that are the ones that are most risk of being accidentally pruned just as they are about to flower. And that's the same for vigelias. They do look quite messy at this time of year. All that new growth has come out. It's a little bit uneven, and there's a temptation to trim it now. Again, no, because that's all flower bud that's emerging now on the previous season's wood. You cut that, it won't flower. Some of those vigelias are really, really lovely, so you'll regret that if you get that one wrong. Finally, we're at the last ones. So we're looking at viburnums and Philadelphias. Viburnums are a bit more obvious. Most of these would have come into flower by now, but there are a few out there that would not have done so. Again, don't touch those until after flowering. Probably the most at risk are going to be your Philadelphias, because they look so straggly. It looks like a bundle of sticks, an absolute mess, and the temptation is, oh, it's so strong to start cutting them. But don't, please don't. They will only flower on the previous season's wood, and it is surprisingly rare to even see Philadelphias in flower, because most gardeners' natural instinct is just to give them a flipping good going over come the spring to tidy them up. But that's the last thing you should do. And there's such a beautiful, beautiful flower. You really are letting yourself down by cutting those, and it's just because they don't look anything, so they're hard to recognize. But if you know, you know. So try and avoid cutting Philadelphias until after flowering. You will regret it otherwise. So anyway, that's all of them. But if there are any other plants that you would like to add to my list of not cutting in April, then you're more than welcome to put that into the comments. I would love to hear from you, and also all the other viewers who do like to go for the comments to find out what people are saying. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Goodbye. Right, now, just before you go, if you want to see more content, more behind the scenes stuff, and images that I've taken of some weird freaky plants over the years, then you're in luck, because we've created an Instagram page. So you can find the link in our description. You can find the link on our main page, and if I'm clever enough, I might be able to get a link somewhere up there. Anyway, thank you for watching, and if you want to see more YouTube stuff, then check out this video here. That's quite a good one. And if it doesn't float your boat, then another one right there. And enjoy these while I've still got the strength, imagination and aptitude to make them. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.